What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark, MikeTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm going to review Eenie Meanie. This is a new film that's on Hulu. It's got that 20th Century Fox bum 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 ba-da-da-da-da-dum bum to let you know they mean business. That this isn't just some schlocky Hulu pickup. This is a real deal. It does have audio description. I didn't pay attention to who made it. That was on me. Honestly, I got to the end and I got one of those like companies that I wasn't like prepared to hear, and I was like, wait, what? Uh, the who? What? And then it just blanked, and I don't know. I got nothing. That's it's a shitty excuse, but audio description is the least of this film's problems. It's fine. It honestly probably could have just used somebody with like a little bit of an adrenaline rush in them, because Eenie Meanie, it's amazing the amount of people who are comparing this to Baby Driver, because that does it a disservice. It's not nearly as interesting as Baby Driver. And I was offered the opportunity to screen this. Fun fact, Disney's screening platform, Disney Debut, that they use is deeply inaccessible, and every single time that I've used it, I've always needed help from a sighted person to help me get past like the first. So it's just not even, it's so hard to even do it. And then they don't have audio description. So why would I do it for a Hulu movie that's going to come out and like the embargo was like the day before? I was like, why? I'll just fucking wait, man. I'm just gonna wait for Eenie Meanie to hit Hulu so I can have audio description. I don't have to mess with your platform. I'm trying to connect with these studios and ask them, is there any way that we can step outside the norm for me and actually get me what I need? Because your platforms are not designed for this, and you're not putting audio description on your screeners. Anyway, Eenie Meanie, my Nemo, catch a driver by her toe. Yeah, Samara Weaving is in this, and it's not a horror movie, so we're already progressing for Samara, and I'm happy for her. She plays a young woman who, when she was a child, ended up being the getaway driver for her parents, which didn't really go well, but I suppose technically they got away. Depends on how you look at things. And you know, we sort of cut forward later in life, and she's sort of reached a critical point in her future as with her doctor, and thinking about where she wants to be in life. And she has a loser boyfriend who's played by an actor I'm just deeply not familiar with, nor did I care enough really to do anything about this, to check or memorize his name or figure out what he was from. I don't know. And so she has to go save his ass because he owes money to Andy Garcia's bad guy. Andy Garcia is by far the most interesting thing in this movie. He's kind of sleepwalking through this role, but he's used to playing this type of role before, and he just kind of makes it work for him. And he's not in that much of it, but it feels like he's not just offering Samara Weaving's Eenie actually like sage advice. He's also offering like the film sage advice. This is a directorial debut by Sean Simmons, who worked on The Continental. I don't know who watched The Continental and was like, yo, we gotta get we gotta make sure the people who worked on The Continental get more to do, because this is peak television. I really did not like that show, and it's I think the weakest thing that's happened in the John Wick universe. So finding out that Eenie Meanie was directed by one of the people responsible for the Continental was just like, oh, well, that makes sense. Answers all my questions. There are a whole bunch of like random supporting people throughout the cast. Marshawn Lynch is sort of like the standout of that. He's continuing to choose sort of these interesting supporting roles, build his acting resume, mostly comedy, but who knows? Who knows where he could go? We're in a year where Dwayne Johnson could legitimately become an Oscar nominee through Smashing Machine. So if Marshawn is trying to just build street cred early on, when you look at the early roles that Dwayne was doing, if it does lead to an Oscar nomination for him, yeah, I mean, Marshawn's laying the work for later on down the line. Who knows what could happen for him with the right role? Who he could play like in a biopic or something like that. So, I liked him. I like Samara. She's just, her role is just nothing. The film doesn't go anywhere. The film isn't enough of a getaway driver type film. It's more of a quasi Ocean's 11 knockoff where they have to like recruit a bunch of people and then they go for a heist. And then there's like maybe like 5 to 10 minutes of getaway driving in this. It's not like a huge highlight of the movie, but that's kind of what the whole movie is leaning on, is the fact that she's a getaway driver and good at it. And it's like a skill set that she has, but the film doesn't have the budget to support that. So that's why the Baby Driver comparisons don't really work, because those sequences are not really notable. It would much rather try to be like a heist movie than anything else. So I think this film just didn't really ever know what its potential was and how to hit it. It just kind of fell short of every mark for me, which sucks because I like Samara Weaving and I was really excited to see her do something where she's not covered in blood, like 24/7, just, or screaming or running from somebody or trying to kill somebody or whatever, just like a normal action comedy thing. And not that she's inherently funny, but she does sort of work in that badass girl boss thing that some people seem to hate for some reason, but yet they adore people like Samara Weaving. She works in that. Like if you were to do an Atomic Blonde TV series, right? Let's say Netflix was like, we're turning Atomic Blonde into a TV series and we're casting Samara Weaving. Feels totally legit. Like I'm on board for that. Because obviously like Charlize is not going to do like a series. So it would be, it's been a while. If we were going to make an Atomic Blonde 2, I feel like we would have already done that by now. So if you're trying to take that concept and like revive it, I feel like Samara Weaving is a solid contender for that, because she's just big enough to be able to anchor a series, but maybe not big enough that they would give her a theatrical Atomic Blonde reboot, revival, sequel, whatever. So she seems stuck in this sort of, I occasionally go to theaters, but most of my stuff is like streaming exclusive area. Anyway, that horror movie that she did last year for Shudder, I don't think that went to theaters. Azrael? Yeah, Azrael. But this is, it's not like this is the year of War of the Worlds and Medea's Destination Wedding. I have to say, I sometimes I joke about Critical Drinker and I make slight references to his bullshit. I watched his War of the Worlds review and it's fucking genius. I will hand it to him. I don't agree with him most of the time, but his War of the Worlds review is solidly on point. So yeah, Eenie Meanie, I don't know. It's a late August release. It kind of reminded me, everybody else was like, I see a lot of Baby Driver. It reminded me of, because of August and the timing and everything, it reminded me of, there was a crappy Ethan Hawke movie called Getaway. I think Selena Gomez was in it. I saw that and it was in like theaters and I hated myself after that. Like I hated that movie. I hated having watched it. I hated having seen it. I thought it was so dull. Uh, I was reminded more of that because of the timing, because it feels like when you're dumping things into late August, that it really is a dumping ground for movies. I remember back in the day, before we ever found out that a movie could ever survive in late August, I mean, some of these late August movies were just terrible. Does anybody remember Fear.com? Like, that was like late August. Like, this is not really known for being a time for, oh my God, the movies in late August. We started kind of reviving September a little bit, which used to be sort of a dead zone for movies. But I still think that that summer end, that people are still dumping shitty movies into the late August frame more often than not, and even on streaming. Um, Last year, this was around the same time that Hulu uh, regurgitated the Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat, which I'm sure some people liked, but we also saw why it was not being considered for Oscars, because that was Fox Searchlight, and a lot of people had floated that and thought maybe it could be an Oscar consideration based on the cast, and then it ended up just going straight to Hulu. And I think all of your questions were answered as to why that happened. And this was around the same time last year that dropped. So this is not really like a strong time for movies. It's not a great moment to be releasing if you're trying to convince people that you have a future. So, Eenie Meanie is not really worth your time. But it's also, you could do worse. I have seen so many films this year where it's like, you can definitely do worse, but you could do a lot better. And that's the point, is that you can still do better. I wanted a lot more from this movie. I wanted pulse-pounding action. I wanted somebody who was capable of directing, these cool chase sequences. I would have loved if Edgar Wright had stepped in here. I would have loved for this to have that feeling of Baby Driver instead of the feeling of whoever the fuck directed Getaway. I would have loved that. That would have been amazing. But it just isn't that. It's just, it just misses the mark. It isn't, and her boyfriend is such a waste of time. Like, I never felt, and the script never made me understand why he wasn't and why she was bothering with him. That's the thing, like, I didn't bother learning the actor. I was just like, why is he even here? Because they don't know how to play him. They have to play him likable enough that she'll rescue him, but he's also not likable enough to be saved. He's in a weird gray area where they can't commit to it one way or the other because of the way that they need the movie to finish. So they just write him in this sort of like neutrally obnoxious way where he's just kind of a dipshit loser, but he's also sort of like affable and goofy. So he's just like, he offered nothing, and he's not a strong enough actor to give me vibes one way or the other. I needed somebody to come in here and make bold choices. I needed like a Charlie Day in this role. I needed a Jack Quaid. That's what this role needed, was somebody like that who could pull off that duality much better than this guy can. I don't care who he is. I really don't care, because I see him as being like the cheap version of those people. Like we couldn't get those guys, so we're getting whoever this is. Because this role is not really well written. She's coming to rescue her ex-boyfriend for reasons, and he's kind of a loser who's involved with crime and owes money, so maybe not the best person to want to try to save and tie down some roots, but at the same time, he's kind of a lovable dipshit. It's just like the whole thing. And then you get to the end of the film and you're like, well, no wonder you played him in this morally gray area for the whole time. It's just a waste. Anyway, come for Samara Weaving and Andy Garcia if you're coming at all, because I thought those two were really nice. But the rest of the movie I could do without. Oh, Marshawn Lynch too. Marshawn. Samara, Andy, and Marshawn kind of helped to elevate the movie a little bit, so it's not so totally unwatchable. But oftentimes I think about, like, how many times did I check my phone during the movie? A lot. Like, I just looked at my phone. It's the unprompted looks. It's the ones where you're like, do I have a push notification? Like, you're not even sure if you do. You're just kind of hoping in this moment. You're like, man, this scene is dragging. Let me see if I have... Oh, man, I don't have one. Nobody's texted. Nobody's... Damn. What time is it? How many bars do I have? Anyway, Eenie Meanie. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. It's not the worst movie of the year, but it's not the greatest movie of the year anyway. So... thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.